guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. Guys, so this is my March 2023 completed coloring book pages video. It is one of my favorite videos to watch, and so I'm actually get this out a little bit earlier than I generally do. I do also plan to film a haul video, but I'm actually still waiting for some things from Lyrica. So once I get that, then I'll go ahead and film that and put that out for you guys, probably on a Saturday video. But let me get this organized and I'll be right back. Now, as I do in these videos, I'm going to show you my completed pages. I like to talk story, so it's probably going to be a bit of a long video. And then at the end of the video, we'll do some stats in my coloring book journal. So the first page I'm going to show you, and it's in no particular order by completion date. It's actually more stacked by size so that it doesn't topple over. But this is out of Life in the Woods or Forest. My translator, that's kind of what it gave me. This is artwork by Chiaka Eda, and I did complete this page right here. Now, technically, if you were to look through here, this is my first completed page. However, I did one before, but I cut it out and I used it on a card. And so it's actually the second page, but it's only the first page you guys have ever seen, because I don't think I even showed it to you guys when I finished coloring it. But this is a purely pencil page. If you consider Twistables a pencil, that actually might be a crayon. I don't know. I'd actually started this back in April 2022, but I don't like how the Twistables feel. I like actually how they look, but I don't like how they feel. It felt like I was fighting. So I finished this with Prisma, Arteza, and Brut Funners. I had basically taken this to work. This was for a find in color of basket. I didn't actually write that down, so that's why I decided to finish it. And this is the second video that I filmed today, and I mentioned I should have taken off my nail polish, but I forgot, so just pretend you don't see that. But I do like how it looks. I think it's really pretty. And we are going to say this is predominantly a pencil page. Again, assuming Twistables are pencils. At least they look like pencils. But again, I think they're crayons. But there is, well, it's shiny, so it could just be the wax from the pencil, because I don't see that there's any glaze pen on here. But yeah, it's a really cute one. Some of the problems I have with this one are some of the images are doubles, but then some of the images are big. Oh, it's gonna make me a liar. Where it takes the whole page. It seems only the ones in the back. I can use alcohol markers in this. I don't use these as postcards, but again, I mentioned when I did my Eerie pages that I don't actually generally like coloring the same thing twice. When I get to my Ikuko book later in this video, you'll see where that's slightly different. But that is my completed page out of this, Life in the Woods and Forest by Chiaka Eda. Now, for these videos, I don't generally link any books. So if there's any books that you see that you'd like a link to, just let me know in the comment section, and then I'll look to see where I got it. If I got it from Amazon, or if I can find it on Amazon, I'll link it there, because with the affiliate link, I can make a small commission. But if I can't find it on Amazon, then I'll see if I can find it on some of the other websites, to include Lyrica, Book Depository, Amazon Japan, or Abe Books, because those are the places I typically buy books. I did complete a page out of here, which is Disney Portraits. I did pick this up from Amazon, and I did this for Pixie's prompt for March, which was Alice in Wonderland, for her, I think it's Pixie's Disney Challenge. I actually had planned to do several pages, but the month kind of got away from me. So this is what I did, and that's fine. But for her current prompt of, oh God, it's a red panda from, I can't remember what the movie is. It's a recent movie from Disney. I think I can find one picture. Now, like I said, I'm waiting for a book from Lyrica, the new color by number Vitro. I know, I was surprised that I bought a color by number because I don't generally like those. So there might be some red panda in there. But otherwise, I've looked through several of my books and I don't know that I found any, but at least I found one, so that's good. But this is the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, and this was completed in March 2023. I'm going to go ahead and mark that. This was a buddy color with my friend Colorist Jen on Instagram. Her Instagram page is linked below. And this we did, or at least I did, for Olga Rani's monthly prompt of Dark Horse. Now I did sacrifice because I knew I wasn't going to color this. And I knew I wasn't going to color this. And so there's some alcohol marker. Oh no, this is actually Crayola because... oh no, that's still bled through. The paper is really thin, so you do need to test your mediums. And I don't actually have a lot of dark horses. I don't like coloring big things. Let's just start there. But I thought it was a really intriguing prompt, and Jen had suggested this because we had done another page in here, and it was actually quite fun. This horse has a lot of layers, so there's quite a bit of Fantasia and oh no, okay, so there's Fantasia pencils for the horse, and I didn't like how that looked, so I put some Dragonfly glaze on top of it, and then I used a gray Crayola marker in there, and then some Pentel glaze pen on top of that. For her, there's some alcohol marker. There's a ton of glaze pen in her hair. There is some gold Wink of Stella for her outfit here, and then all of those are Crayolas in a variety of different blues and purples. I don't swatch my markers, and so I just went for the covers, and some of them looked more purpley than actually they turned out to be, like these blues here. But I think overall it looks really good, and I'm happy to do it. This book is definitely going to be one of those where I'm going to pick battles, and some pages I will color and some pages I will sacrifice. Like, I will definitely do this in alcohol marker because I don't feel the need to color something like that. But that is my completed double page spread. Again, for finding color of Dark Horse. This also goes towards my own hashtag of Tackle Your Treasures because it is the second page completed in this. And this is Color Me Circus by Nata Ibragimov. I butchered that, and I'm sorry. This was a buddy color with my friend Disney Meg. For March, her alphabet challenge was G, and so we did a page here for Coco, and the prompt, or what I chose, was guitar. And this was kind of a hard picture to do because a lot of the elements in the background were brown. So I just kind of did a wash there. I kind of highlighted some things. I left the guitar white and then added aspects of gray and silver because that's actually how the guitar is, and then just added pops of orange and green and purple just to kind of break up some of the rampant brown that was inherent in this picture. And I actually got this idea from Meg because she had finished her page first, and she had turned this into like a black statue, and that was just way easier to color than this being this guy who, whatever his name is, on top of a horse. And I don't know what it is about me, but whenever I see glass, I always think it should be green. Don't know why. But that is my completed page out of this. This is Tour de Monde. I did get this from Lyrica, but I think it might be on Amazon now. Again, if there's anything you want me to link, just let me know in the comments below. Candace from Happy Catastrophe here on YouTube, I'll go ahead and link her channel with all the other channels that I've mentioned, is doing a Color the Tarot ongoing hashtag, and she does a really good job of explaining how tarot originated, because I actually didn't know. And every month, I believe, she's going to pick a card or go through the various major arcana, minor arcana, and that'll kind of be the theme for the month. I just watched her one on the Magician, and it was really, again, it's really interesting on what it means. To me, I do a daily tarot pull when I'm at work, and I kind of treat it like if I were to read my daily horoscope. That's kind of how I do it. But the first video that she had on this new hashtag of hers was the Fool. I did have several options I could have chosen from, but it was in the latter part of the month and I still had some buddy colors to do. And so I chose this. This is all alcohol marker work. I didn't look up any kind of color symbolism or whatever. I just knew I wanted the sky blue, and it was kind of a process of elimination of what would pop there. And then this is just a variety of different distress ink. I did not want to kind of focus on the pattern. I didn't care. I've got some washi tape to kind of clean up my edges. And so this goes for her hashtag of Color the Tarot. And again, that's from Candace, or sister from Happy Catastrophe. And then this also goes for my hashtag of Coloring Your Star Zodiac 2023, because that can be any zodiac page, astrology page, tarot page, or any animal therein. So for instance, in the Chinese astrology, there is a horse. So if you color any horse page, you could post it to that hashtag. There's no hashtag police, so no one's gonna say anything, or no one should, at least. I could have also counted this towards Lavella and T's Color Your Hoard. I did post this to Instagram, so I don't remember what hashtags I used, but this is the very first page that I completed in this book. It was quick, it was fun, and I loved the symbolism of what it meant. And again, go ahead and check out Candace's video, because she does a really phenomenal job on the history of it and then talking about what this particular card means. So this is a Chartwell book, a tarot coloring book, and I did pick this up from Amazon. Now, this page I'm going to show you is probably my least favorite, and it's one of those things, I started putting color down, and then I couldn't get it to work. So I knew that I needed to have pink on the page, because pink was the color of the month for my hashtag Morgan O Color Challenge 2023. And so either the egg was going to be pink or the flowers are going to be pink. So I went the safe route and I did pink flowers. Cool. He's always going to be green and brown. A variety of different greens and browns, but always green and brown. And so a process of elimination is how I do colors. So I did this block of dark brown, and might have been the first strike that I did. I don't know if you can see it. But then I did this color that was, I think it was like sienna or burnt umber or something, but it was super orangey, and he really popped, but then everything else looked gross. I'm like, what are you doing? And so I put some green or some gray or something, and it kind of turned into that. So it looks muddy. I'm not unhappy with it overall. It's just, it's one of those things where at the end of it, I'm like, dear Johanna, maybe once, maybe you could not do that whole process of elimination methodology of coloring a page. Well, okay, well, you did that. Now how are you going to do it? And you did that. Okay, well, where are you going to go from there? Maybe, because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, that actually really works out for me. And then sometimes I've got the baby Grogu in a muddy patch of goo. I don't know, but that's really pretty. And that effect is really because the marker was out of ink, but I kind of like it. So yeah. The text on here, because I do like to put text on here, is Grogu was using the Force to be one with nature. And by being one with nature, he wanted a big shiny egg for a snack. This is the way. Now, if you are following along on, and this also was the March group buddy color for Grogu in 2022. As always, thank you to Be Cozy for suggesting that group buddy color. And for March, the group buddy color is this. And I think I counted, and there are maybe 15 or 18 more images after this one. So we're definitely not going to finish this year if you are playing along on a monthly basis. But we are on target to finish this coloring book in 2024. That looks so freaky. See, that's kind of cute, but that there, it looks like his eye was gouged out. I know, sorry. Random. Anyway, that is Morgan O'Brien's The Way Home. If you are also doing the monthly color challenge, the Morgan O color challenge, the April color that I chose was green. Now, this is a book that I had purchased back in the beginning of my coloring book journey. I have since learned that I do not like mandalas, I do not like pattern pages, and I generally do not like color by numbers, color by colors. And that's as in I don't like to do them. I love what you guys do with all of those things. I don't find it enjoyable. However, I am nearly done with this one. And so whenever there's a Olga Rani prompt, I look in here. And so this was a prompt for Olga Rani of Rose. And I did choose to keep the background white. I did also choose to just kind of go my own way. This was supposed to be a variety of different greens. I couldn't be bothered. And so I just did a wash of green and then some Wink of Stella on top of that. This was supposed to be a variety of different colors. I could not be bothered. So I'm not actually following this per se, and I'm just doing what I want in the book. I do have still quite a few pages in here, but again, it is a fairly quick. I can usually do this in 1 or 2 lunch hours, just depending on how much detail and how much layers that I'm doing. But this is something that I do have at work, and I keep at work specifically for Olga Rani's because I don't want to get rid of it. I've finished a lot of the pages in here, but I realized once I got this and this other one that I did finish that it's just not a genre or a style that I enjoy. But this is Kira Shirshneva's Woman's World. I did purchase it right around when it was released, so my copy does not have the country, but I believe subsequent copies do. So I'm assuming this is from France, Marie Antoinette, but I actually don't know. And honestly, I don't care. But yeah, that's my completed page out of this. Now, let me get my Hobonichi. I had to look, but Jamie is doing a 3-month Lulu Mayo hashtag, which is Mayo in March to May. And so she's running that hashtag because she really wants to focus on her Lulu Mayo coloring books. And I've got an ongoing, there's actually no end date that I see in my head anyway, of Mucho Loco for Lulu Coco. So it's coloring any Lulu Mayo page or any Coco Wayo page. And so we do have a couple of buddy colors set up. This was one of the 2. The next one I'll either do in April or in May. I know I want to get it done before May. It just depends on what I get done. But this is the page that I completed, and it was just this tree right here. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I used alcohol marker. The Lulu Mayo coloring books, I do like the images, I'm not gonna lie, but I struggle with the paper, and I think more often than not, that is people's complaint. I don't like how pencils work on here. I don't like how water-based markers work on here. And I know that because the paper is a struggle for me, it's not a coloring book that I'm going to complete the entire thing. So why not use a medium that I enjoy? I do have a tree stencil, so I just did a variety of different layers and trees. I did some cloud stenciling, all with distress ink, and then I did a little bit of shading with just a variety of different markers. I use Ohuhu and Mondo and Sharpie, which are alcohol marker or permanent markers. And then I use some Crayolas and some distress ink. So this is a variety of different layers of ink. There's no pencil work on here. And generally I don't do a lot of basing in alcohol marker and then pencil work, just because I find it very taxing on my hand and my arm. But that was ours. I don't know that I've seen her completed pages video yet. I'm just starting to watch a bunch of them. But if anything, check out when it does come up, or you can check out her Instagram. Or you can check out mine. I think I actually posted this. Again, my Instagram game is weak. I'll do nothing for weeks on end and then vomit posts because... yeah, but this is Lulu Mayo's A Million Sloths. This, I keep the majority of my Lulu Mayo books at work, so this will be going back to work. I did do an opal page. This is what I class as a Forest Girl number 3. This is the 3rd book in the series, and I did this one right here. The majority of her is in alcohol marker. I did use a stencil in the background. I actually used a variety of stencils in the background. And because it's like a 6x6 stencil, and I don't usually pay attention, I just kind of put it on the page, there were lines on there. So I'm like, well, when in doubt, add more. So I just added more lines. You can see my stencil work is not clean. And to be honest, it doesn't need to be. The colors are a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's not unpleasant, but it's a bit weird. I thought to put down some washi tape here, but I figured that would be a lot of little coloring or cutting, and I didn't want to deal with that. So that's just what I ended up. This is a Tim Holtz sticker, and it says, "It's the little things that make life big." I do have a snarky one, but I also have like an inspirational one. It was a fairly quick color. I tend to have problems when the coloring space is big. I do actually prefer, just from an interest level and a coloring level, when there are smaller elements on the page. But this was done towards the ending of the month. I did want to do a opal page, and I thought this would be fairly quick, and it was, considering it's an opal book. But again, the color choices are a bit what and I guess because of the blue, this feels less of a rash, the red bubbles here, but it still makes me think of that because of the other page that I did in February. But anyway, that's my completed page here out of Opal's Forest Girl number 3. Now I have fallen behind on the group buddy colors, and so let me show you the ones that I still need to do. This is Chroma's Area Veil. This was sent to me as a gift by my friend Pixie, who is also hosting the Complete Area Veil. And so for April, it's this page. I think this was the page for March. Obviously, I have not done this. This is Herbs and Pots. And then this was the page for February. And as you can see, I have started it. But I did finish the December page. No, the January page. Whatever. Those are the ones I still need to do. This I didn't get finished, obviously, until March. I added these lines in the background, and that was actually a mistake. I didn't measure correctly, and so I had multiple lines. I'm like, well, let's just make more lines across. Let's make it look intentional. I don't think it actually looks bad. And then this actually counts for birthday goodies for Poet because there's books and bears. This goes for Pixie's Complete Area Veil. And I think that was all of the prompts this would have counted towards. So I do plan to play catch up. I'm not going to get stressed over my coloring pages. So I definitely want to finish the one I started. And that first one, the very first page, looks like it'll be fairly simple to do, but I will get them done when I get them done. And as she announced in her video, if you do want it to be featured in that month's gallery, make sure you get the picture to her by the 27th of the month so that she can pull that stuff together. I tip my hat off to anyone who does a gallery of completed pages because it is a lot of work, especially Lavella and T, where they do your Color the Horde. I think she said for March it was over 400 different images. I just tell you guys no. I mean, I love you, but apparently there's a limit to how much I do. So I don't do any of it. But yeah, so that's the April Buddy Color if you're following along on the Complete Area Veil. And this can be found on Amazon, and the artist is Chroma. I do like to do a buddy color with Deb, and we have been focusing on Zan Von Zed. That's pretty much been our go-to. Sometimes we deviate from that. Now, this is only the second picture I've completed in this. Of these Zan Von Zed images, I prefer the grayscale images over the line art. But I actually really like how this came out. I decided not to do a background. This was already there, and I figured I could anchor her on the page by putting black. That's all alcohol marker. And I had gotten some new gray alcohol markers from Walmart, so I decided to make her gray. And then the colors just kind of happened. This is some art skills, and in the art skills markers that I picked up from Sam's Club, there's this pinkish color and this kind of violet purple color, and I like how those two react to each other. And then I just kind of built the colors from there. When I saw these, I think they're mums. I actually don't know. I saw them as a dark color, but once they were sitting up against the black, because I actually colored those first, I didn't like the look of that, and so I did an outline in some Moonlight pen, and it does kind of pop. And then there's some Spectrum Sparkle just to make her outfit pop. And this is a Tim Holtz sticker. It's out of the Snarky Small talk, and it says, "I meant to behave." But there were way too many other options. This could have gone towards Tackle Your Treasures because this is the second completed page. As you can see, that's the first and only one that I had before this. And so I asked her if we could do another one in here just so I can play catch up, because my other Zan Von Zeds, and there's 3 more that I have, a lot of them are completed. And so this is the one that we're going to be doing for April. But this is Zan Von Zed's Ladies of Leisure 2. This was a buddy color with Deb over on Instagram, and this is the line art version. I don't know if there's a grayscale version, but I'm just going to color in what I have. Now, I have finally completed a page out of this book. Now, when I purchased this book, I thought it was something else. I thought it was this. I don't know why I thought it was this, but I thought it was this, and it's not. It's a book of dragons. Now, as much as I like fantasy and whimsy and mythology and fairy tales, I actually am not a huge dragon fan. So it's been difficult to kind of motivate myself. Now, I'm going to show you my whip in here because this is the first page that Poet and I agreed to do. I don't know where these colors came from. And I'm actually going to say that again when I show you the page I completed. But when I look at this, it makes me sad. Like, what? And then I made a mistake here. So I had used this acrylic paint in here as well. And then I realized, oh, well, how is his head attached to the rest of his body? Because that's his neck. I couldn't make out what that was. And so I just made it like a blue halo. And then I realized, oh, this dude's head is floating. So will I come back to this? If there's a prompt of B, I might. And it might look better once I've added some glitter and brought some depth into it. But right now, this color scheme is no bueno. But I did complete a page. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I had started this back in oh goodness, the latter part of 2022. Because I think in one of my videos, I said, I started a page, I just wasn't feeling it. And so Poet's like, well, let's choose another one. And so I sent her some options and she chose this one. So I remember starting this, splitting it in half and coloring the background gold. Why? I don't know. I didn't write anything down. I don't know what my thought process was of, why did you think that'd be a good idea, Johanna? So once I did that, and that was a lot of layers and a lot of finicky things, and I'm pretty sure I was like, oh, over it. Then I'm like, well, what do I do on this side? Well, I'm not doing acrylic paint because I know I don't like that. So I did some alcohol marker, and then I think on top of this, there's some sparkle. So this might be a dual hybrid because of that glitter. And I remember thinking, dear Johanna, but why? And then I'm like, okay, so you did half of this in gold and you've got half of this in blue. So you're going to switch the face up and do half in one color and half another. And I was coloring it. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm going to color this as a face that's split in half because of reasons. I have no idea what's going on. And at this point, I don't care. But the reason I finished this is because of Olga Rani's prompt of roses. I'm like, okay, 2 birds, 1 stone. I actually finish a page in this book. It counts towards something, and I can send this to Poet. So there are some things here that I didn't like, so I just colored it, and then these are some Sticky Club stickers, and then my edges were really rough, so I just added some washi tape just to clean it up. So yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a very striking page, but it's just one of those things like, dear Johanna of the past, why do you hate us so much? Because why do you do these things? And I write notes, but I don't write great notes because I don't know why I did that. Because it would kind of make sense if I did the whole background in gold. Or maybe I'd started, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing more of this. Let's split it in half. But again, I couldn't tell you why I did this. I just can tell you how I dealt with having done that. So yeah. But I finally have a completed page out of this book, which is Dragons something or other. Dreams of Dragons and Dragonkin, and that's artwork by Raven Phelan. It is, I believe, the same publisher and paper as the, oh, what's her name? Jasmine Beckett Griffith books. But yeah, I completed a page out of that. This is another coloring book that I keep at work. This is Nice Little Town Interiors, a coloring book by Tatiana Bogema-Stolova. And I did this page because of Olga Rani's prompt of basket. It is a very limited color palette because predominantly I used my Ohuhu skin tones on this, and then I just added some pops of blue and green on here just because there were elements that I felt that needed it. It wasn't necessarily a quick color even with a limited palette, but it did help me kind of choose the direction of it. So I do have the, I want to say it's the 36 count of Ohuhu skin tones, and so even these colors in here, the golds, the dark yellows and the whatnot, and there's just pops of green and blue on here. I don't know if I said, but this was a prompt for finding color of chest. This is the 5th completed page in here, so it also counts towards my own Tackle Your Treasures 2023. And as a recap, the Tackle Your Treasures is any coloring book that you have at least 1 completed page in, but no more than 5. No one's checking, so if you just want to post to that, cool. I actually love seeing the completed pages, and people seem to really like that hashtag. But that is my completed page out of this Nice Little Town Interiors by Tatiana Bogema-Stolova. Now this page, actually, I had done a video on. It was how I color using washi and Distress ink. What was it? I don't remember. I know it was washi, but there was some other thing I showed you the tips on. Well, this is the completed page. And so I did the background in black because I felt it really needed it. There's a base of some alcohol marker, but then a whole bunch of Spectrum Sparkle. There's also some glaze pen because it is quite limited. The saturation of the alcohol marker is very light, so between that and the dark colors of the glaze pen and then the Spectrum Sparkle in between, so it's alcohol marker, Spectrum Sparkle, and then glaze on top of that, I think it gives it some nice movement and texture. This here is a stamp, and it's this stamp right here. And for the life of me, I cannot remember what that is. Because I used a light color because I had put the acrylic down and I wanted the color to kind of pop. So it kind of looks kind of ghosty. It gives it some texture. And I might have actually used a very light color for my distress ink. But I didn't film it. So I don't know. I know I used this. I mean, you can see it right there, but I don't remember what exactly I used. I need to replicate that. There's some washi to clean up the edges, and she definitely is giving me Queen Charlotte vibes from the Bridgerton series. I think this image is really pretty. This could have gone towards Tackle Your Treasures. No. Color Your Whore, because it's actually the first page in here. And then this also went for Olga Rani's Finding Color of Rose. I think during the video, I told you guys that's why I chose to do this page with you. If you're wondering why I'm changing the tabs, I am going through the process of going through my coloring books, and purple always means completed pages for that particular month. Any other color either means whips or something I want to do or something that I've done. And it just helps me for future videos. But this is Masters of Fashion Illustration, and it's illustrated by Wendy Pearsall. Now this is my second page completed out of Hannah Karlson's Seasons, so it could have gone towards Tackle Your Treasures. And I posted this to Instagram, and I hope I remember to put that. But I did this page right here. And I'm just seeing if the Distress Ink Spray, this one right here, bled through, and I don't really see that. This I had chosen originally because of Egg for Finding Color for Olga Rani, and then my February prompt of Animal. But I didn't finish this in February, so it actually also counted towards my March prompt of Crystal or Gem. And so it was actually a very bright page. And I don't know that I liked that. So I did some of the Distress Spray. I used some stamps that I have. So the glare is probably insane because of the plastic, but this is some Tim Holtz stamps that I have. And so that's where the text comes on back there. And then I have this stamp set. I use some of those circle ones for that right there. And I kind of like that look of kind of old-timey but modern. And then you've got the bright colors, but then also distress. So I really actually like how this came out. But for a while, I'm like, meh. Now, this is not a page I would generally choose because it's not a pattern page. There's no repeated elements, but it's also not a very interesting page. But I think with the kind of mixed media approach to it, I really like the look of this. So this, like I said, could have counted towards Tackle Your Treasures because this is the second page I've completed in here. This counts towards Hannah K. Treasure Hunt for Gem or Crystal. That was the March prompt. And then this would have counted to Olga Rani's Finding Color for Egg. I didn't quite complete the page to post, to send to her. But I kind of like that, and I might do that again. But that is my completed page out of this one, Seasons by Hannah Karlson. Now this is a group buddy color, and there's a bunch of people in that group. I think this is up to date. If I've missed anyone when I'm editing, then I'll go ahead and put their name on the screen. I will link all of these people in their own little section in my description box. But this is hosted by Doodle Robot and Color with Maya, I think it is, colored by Maya. And in the group is Colorful Pirate, Tammy Colors 2, colored by Maya, Doodle Robot, Carrie K, Happy Catastrophe, and then on Instagram, Stephanie Napolitan, and myself, of course. And so our March page was this one right here. And it's always so interesting when we show each other our completed pages, because we wait until the end of the month so that you are coming at it fresh. So there's no kind of subconscious, I don't want to say bias, but you don't get pushed into one way or another. And the variety of different pages that everyone did was just so interesting. Now this kind of happened. Surprise. So I did the owl. Actually, all of the owl is in a base of washi tape. And actually did fairly well. There's not a lot of cutting through it. But this whole thing is washi tape. This is a different washi tape, and this is a different washi tape. And then on top of that, I put some black acrylic marker that I had to make those elements pop, because the washi tape that I used was thin enough that I could actually see these patterns on there. And then I used some distress ink on the back, and I used some stamps, and then I used some of that distress spray. I didn't mean it to go this dark, but it actually kind of makes his eyes pop. So I like how this looks, but it just, yeah. I mean, the browns are there. I'm like, okay, well, let's, and I didn't mean for that orange to be as bright as it is, although it's not that bright. But that's my glaze pen. And then this is a moonlight pen, and I actually really like the brown and this kind of teal milky color. And then his eyes kind of pop because of mistakes, reasons, I don't know, because the washi tape underneath is white. And so you can see where I was using distress ink, that it kind of went on there, because I'm messy when it comes to distress ink. But overall, like I said, I really like the look of it. I loved what everyone interpreted this page to be. And then for May, the page that we're going to do, and I think it's because this is a page Maya had chosen, and I think that's her birthday month, is this page right here. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but that's a problem for future Johanna. So this is Mid-Century Modern Animals, artwork by Jen Ski. Now, I chose to do a page out of Tomislav Tomic's Dramenvanger, and I chose this for two reasons. In one of my prompts in my coloring book journal, I do a random number generator. It comes up with a number 1 through 7, and then I choose a book from that, because I'd mentioned at the beginning of the year that a lot of my coloring is either driven by Olga Rani, prompts in the community by way of hashtags, or buddy colors. And I wanted a way so that I could just choose something from a shelf that may or may not go towards that. Well, this actually does both. So it counts towards Olga Rani's prompt of Dark Horse, but also was from shelf number 3. And so the page I completed is this one right here. Now the prompt is Dark Horse. I didn't realize until I started putting the acrylic ink on the horse that this is not a horse. It's a buttercis, not a Pegasus. I think a Pegasus is like for real wings and not butterfly wings, but I'm including it anyway because this was a lot of work. But I did approach it differently how I would normally approach this book, because this book, based on the imagery, to me, it's very bright and vibrant. But because the horse was dark, the wings were dark, I really love that effect right there. I had colored all of the horse in black acrylic paint. And in that, I used some black distress ink. So it looks like the film, like you can see the horse's butt through the film of the wing. Not gonna lie, thought I was super clever. It just kind of happened. But the rest of it is done in dark colors to kind of just bring that whole dark horse feeling. Originally, the eyes were pink. I I didn't feel that was necessary or it looked good. So there's some red on there and some black on there. There's some black glaze pen. There is some Spectrum Sparkle all over the wings. I don't know that I actually put on the body, but because of the amount of glitter on here to include dual hybrid metallic, glitter is kind of everywhere. Yeah. And then there's Distress ink back here. And then I used some Staedtler Aquarelle pencils for the background by way of grays and greens, because again, I did want this to have a dark feeling. But I am quite pleased with this picture. Let's see. There's a little bit of ghosting or bleed through here and here. And that looks to be some Distress ink. And that looks to be some Tombow water-based marker. I don't know that this is an image that I would necessarily color. So I could have used alcohol marker, but I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, that is my completed page in here, and I am quite happy with it. It was one of those things I mentally had to prepare myself that yes, this is going to take some time, but I am happy that I did it. And this is from Book Roast's William that I printed for last year. But this is Tomislav Tomic's Drummond Vunger. Now, this is a book that I mentioned, and this is the second to last book before we hit my coloring book journey, that I don't generally color things double. This is the only book that I've ever done that, and I've enjoyed it every time I have. So this is an ongoing buddy color with my friend Patty. This was supposed to be done in February. I didn't get to it. And so she was really great. I think she just finished hers. I want to say I've seen her pages on both her completed pages. Or no, maybe not her completed pages, because I think I watched that. But I think she posted to Instagram. It's all a blur. But one of the pages we did was this one right here. It was actually a very simple coloring because there was only a few elements on the page. And then I used Distress ink for the background to give it that coffee stain. And these are actually rub-on stickers to further go with that coffee stained look. And I do like the colors on here. Tim Holtz sticker, and it says she was tempted to cause a scene. So I finished that in March, but I'm going to show you the next page. Actually, let me show you what it looked like, because again, there's doubles in here. So this was the other page that we completed together. And when I show you my rendition, I'm not going to lie, it's probably one of my favorite completed pages out of this book, maybe just in general. And so it's this one right here. Now, as in simplistic as that page was, I really added quite a few different layers to here. So there's Distress ink, first of all, in the background. She's done with alcohol markers, glaze pen. Her eyes are done with a white glaze pen with some pink on top. Her lips white, again with some pink on top by way of glaze. And then where I really enjoyed was I've got some washi stickers in black. So once you put it on the page, it doesn't actually look like a sticker. It looks like a stamp, but this is a sticker. There is some stamped on here. And honestly, I love the dusty rose kind of mauve and black aspect of this page. I just think this is really, really pretty. Like really pretty. So happy with this page. Another Tim Holtz sticker, and it says, "It's a beautiful day to leave me alone." But yeah, probably one of my favorite pictures out of this book, and definitely one of my favorite pictures of the month. And it was actually really simple to do. But those were my buddy colors with my friend Patty. She's going to send me some others because I think she's nearly completed this book, and so we're going to see what we can coordinate. And this is Ikuko's Surreal Fantasy. Now this has to be my favorite of the month, and I have to say it's because of the paper. So this is Atelier of Witchcraft, a coloring book. This is a manga. I'd actually started reading this manga last year, but I realized very quickly that I do not like reading manga on my Kindle. If I'm going to read manga, I actually will need to get the book because the way it moved was kind of making me nauseous. But the page I completed was this one right here. This was for Olga Rani's prompt of basket. I used alcohol marker, and I loved how the alcohol marker works on this book. It seemed to move so beautifully, and I don't have expensive alcohol markers. This is not Copic or anything. This is Art Skills and Ohuhu. But I'm so used to working off of Amazon paper that I didn't realize how well you can blend something, how well you can move something, and how much something won't bleed into other spaces if the paper is really good. I'm sorry for the car alarm. But yeah, this was just, it was fun. It was one of those things that I knew the chair was going to be gold and green. And so she was kind of built around that. Not the greatest way of choosing how to do things, but whatever. Olga Rani's prompt of basket for finding color. I looked this up. This is Agat. This is a witch apprentice. Kifri's Atelier of the Pointed Hat Witches, and she wants to be a librarian for the Arcombe House, which is her house, at the Tower of Books. Now, if you go online, because I didn't do this beforehand, I went afterwards to find out who this actually was, and her robe and whatever is completely different colors. But again, I was basing it off of how it would work with the rest of the page. My art skill pens, that violet pink combination, again, I really love how that looks. I can't wait to work in this book again because, again, those alcohol markers worked such a treat. It was awesome. But that is my final completed page for March. Let me put this away and I'll get my coloring book journal. So this is my Maisie Lane Co. A5 dot grid journal. They no longer sell journals as far as I am aware, but really any journal would work, any notebook would work. But this is just what I'm using. This used to be something else, but I've repurposed it to my coloring book journal. We'll start here. So for Olga Rani, the current week's prompt is Peacock, and for Dark Horse, that actually isn't due until April 15th. I am working on one more image. I don't know that I'll be able to finish it. It's a mythographic image, but it's something I'm working on at work. So I definitely have the two. I've showed you that in this video, but I might actually have one more that I can show you for the April completed pages. And so when we go to this here, I did an opal page. I did not finish my Erie page. I was so bummed. I had done the basing in Inktense paint pans, and I thought I'd be able to finish it either the 30th or the 31st because I knew I'd get home earlier, but that conference just wiped me out. And I felt bad because I had literally told Tammy on the 31st, I'll have it done later this day. And like I said in my Hobonichi Weeks video, when I got home that day, I had a splitting headache and I actually had to sleep for like 4 or 5 hours before I could really do anything. So I got up, took a shower and whatnot. I literally just collapsed when I got home. And so I just felt bad because I had told her, yeah, I'll get it done by the end of today. And I didn't actually finish it until April. So you'll see it in my April completed pages. I did do a portrait page. I did do a pencil page, again, if we're counting Twisted Balls as pencils. Hardback by way of the Hannah Karlson book. 10 by 10 could have been the Thomas Log Tomic book. Zan Von Zed, I did. Joanna Basford, I did not. Group Buddy, I did. Ikuko, I did. That was why what I did was what I missed for February. And then off the shelf was that Thomas Love Tomic. It's on shelf number 3. So I did that. Tackle Your Treasures. Definitely had some pictures towards that. Grogu in 2022, yes. As well as the Morgan O Color Challenge. Coloring Your Star Zodiac, I did the Fool. Hannah K Treasure Hunt, I did the Gem. Color Your Hoard could have been that picture I just showed you. Meg's ABC Color, it was G for guitar. Actually, let me put that G. And then I know the next month, currently for April, is R. Complete Area Veil, I mean, it was an old picture, but I did do one. Pixie's Disney Coloring, I did do one. And Animals Doing People Things, I don't know that I posted it, but that Complete Area Veil actually could have counted towards that. So we're gonna say yes. Good. So for my individual buddy colors, I did 7. And then for my group buddy colors, which was Grogu in 2022, Complete Area Veil, and Mid-Century Animals, I did 3. This number isn't going to really change. It's either 2 or 3 every month, because for my Magical Dreamland and my Mid-Century Modern Animals, those 2 switch every other month. So it's never going to be 4 that I have right here. And if you're new, the way I class this is this group buddy color is specific pictures out of specific books that a group of people are doing. So my Grogu in 2022, I choose that page. Collectively for Magical Dreamland and Mid-Century Animals, we kind of decide on a page, and then Pixie chooses the Complete Area Veil page. What isn't included in that is Meg's Disney Coloring or Pixie's Disney Coloring, because I might be doing a picture with Meg, but it's not like a whole group is doing that exact same picture. That's how I've kind of figured it out in my brain, if any of that makes sense. So completed pages, I actually completed 20 pages this month, which is I don't have enough data to say what my average is, but so far it would seem my average is, what, 17, if you're math oriented. For the Finding Color on the weekly basis, I did 7. And for the monthly that I completed within the month of March, I did 2. So 9 of the 20 pages that I did went to Olga-Rani's. Before I started filming, I actually did a percentage. So the Olga-Rani number of colors that I did, no, that sentence was weird. The number of Finding Colors I did for the month of January was 54% of the total number of pages I completed. For February, it was 60% of the pages I completed. And for March, it was 45% of the pages that I completed. Does anyone care? No, but I just find that really interesting that Olga-Rani really drives a lot of my coloring pages. I'm obsessed. And if you've ever watched her videos on Sundays, it's one of the first things I watch on Sunday mornings. The box is getting empty, and it's giving me a little bit of anxiety, because, I mean, what am I going to do when it's gone and Sunday mornings roll around? I know. It's all about me, guys. I want to thank Catherine for pointing out that I missed marking that I finished a page out of Rooms of Wonder in February. So I wrote a note so I wouldn't forget, but thank you, Catherine, for pointing that out. So let's go through this. Finally completed a page out of Dreams of Dragons. Sonoville Sauvage, or Manga Glow in the Dark, Throne of Glass, Victorian Fantasy, Demon Slayer, nope. Mystery Island, nope. Magical Words of Amblaflage, nope. Diary of a Witch, Adventures of Tiny Girl, nope, nope. Ikuko Japanese Girls, nope. Atelier of the Witch, yes. Frog's Tale, nope. World of Broken Dolls, nope. Coloring Heaven, Starry Night, I actually have a completed page for April. Chibi Coloring Book, Fantasy Edition, nope. Fairlandia, Transcendence. I've been really thinking about some of those AI generated books of just getting rid of. So I might actually have this changed up for April. Even like the amblaflage one up here. I love the thought, and that's the one where the colored image is on one side and the black and white line art is on the other. But to be honest, I don't know that I'm actually going to color it. So I don't know that I'm going to be stashing. I just might be donating, but I might actually change up some of the names on here. I have done 4 different videos so far on my completed pages and coloring book collection. I still need to film some more, but I think the next video I'm going to film of this coloring book haul is once I get my Lyrica books, and then there'll be a whole video. All right, guys, out of the completed pages that I've shown you, did you have any favorites? I'd love to know in the comment section below. All right, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.